I'm a fucking casual when it comes to college basketball. I will be the first person to admit that. I don't watch college basketball that often as much as I should. I maybe watch it once every couple weeks. I turn on like a game, Duke UNC. I'll turn on that game, or I'll turn on Michigan Ohio State. Okay, or I'll turn on like UCLA USC. Yeah, you get the trend here. I'm just gonna watch these big games, these big rivalry games, or just big games in general. I watched Purdue versus UIUC, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. That was a pretty good game. Wagler or whatever. I think his name is Wagler. Is the point guard. So point guard is like 18 or 19. Dropped 40 or 50 points that game. It was crazy. Like I don't know. I think that's crazy. I'm not a big college basketball watcher. I know Boozer, DeBansa, and Peterson are gonna go top 3 overall. I know Darius Akuff. I don't know. You get the gist. I am very, very casual. So we're gonna fill out a bracket as casual, and we're gonna enter this free thing. And you guys will do it with me. We're gonna go with number 1 versus number 16 seed Duke versus Siena. Or Siena. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just really not a college basketball guy. I'm sorry. I liked watching it every once in a while, but I just can't do it all the time. Duke wins. I think people are favoring Duke to win it all. I think that's very, very plausible. I think it really is. I think it'd be awesome. I think this team could probably go all the way. I like Cam Boozer. He's pretty good. I'm not gonna have very in-depth analysis. I'm just doing this for shits and giggles. Doing this for fun. I'm uploading 2 videos tomorrow: mock draft and this video. I already have the thumbnail for this video too. We're gonna go Ohio State versus TCU. I've heard good things about TCU. I've heard Ohio State's very, very iffy. A very, very interesting team. I think TCU is going, and honestly, I've just been doing most of my reviews online, mainly through TikTok, because you know what? I'm a fucking virgin. So we're going to go Duke. Duke versus TCU, and we're going to get there after a little bit. We're going to go St. John's versus Northern Iowa. I know March Madness is a gigantic thing about upsets. I've watched March Madness. I watch March Madness a good amount. I'm not like the biggest fan, but I watch it. Like I'm really happy when March Madness is on. There's a lot of upsets. I don't think Northern Iowa is capable of upsetting St. John's. I'm going to go St. John's, though. I think I like St. John's a lot more. I think I gave him to St. John's last year. I had him in my Final Four, and I had them losing to another team. I think I had him losing to Florida. And last year, it turned out pretty well. They did lose in, like, the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 or something. I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe the round of 32. But it doesn't really matter. I think St. John's here would be an awesome team. Kansas State versus California Baptist. I honestly don't know anything about California Baptist, I'm going to be honest. Or CA Baptist. I think CA stands for California Baptist. I'm sorry, guys. Kansas has Darren Peterson. He's been pretty good, but Kansas also has been very inconsistent. They've lost against some big name teams, obviously, like Arizona, Iowa State. So those teams like that. It's interesting. Darren Peterson plays like he's the next coming of Kobe. And then he plays like he just doesn't care. And he says he does care. People are really interested. I don't know my take. I think that he's a really good basketball player. Smash like. So I think it'll be awesome for this team. I think Darren Peterson gets it done. Louisville versus South Florida. This is going to be another interesting one. I think I've heard Louisville is very inconsistent as well. I think South Florida is also a pretty good team. I'm going to look at the preview. South Florida. There's a lot of people picking University of South Florida. It's interesting. They have 16 points per game. Ryan Conwell. I don't know any of these guys. I'm so sorry. I'm just such a casual. I really said I was a casual. I'm going to pick UCF. USF. I think I like USF here. I'm going to go with an upset. No real in-depth knowledge of that team or Louisville or South Florida. Interesting area. I know Darian Carr. I like or Carr. I don't remember his full name, but Carr. He's pretty good. And Jeremy Fears Jr., which is Jeremiah Fears' brother, I think, who's in the NFL. Or in the NBA, sorry. A lot of people were picking Michigan State. I think Michigan State can make a deep run. I think they're going to have them to the Elite 8, which I'll get to in a little bit. Carlos Dent. I know Carlos Dent. I saw a video on TikTok of a guy ranking the most attractive college basketball players. Carlos Dent was one of them. No homo. Anyways, we're going to go back to March Madness. UCLA versus UCF. I think UCLA has been very inconsistent as well. I like Dent, but I think they can get it done. A lot of people are picking UCF as well. I like Dent. I think he'll be pretty good for this team. I think he'll be awesome. We're gonna go UCLA. UConn versus Furman. I think UConn has had a pretty good season too. Hence why they're the number 2 seed. A lot of people aren't picking Furman either. So I think this would be awesome for this team. I don't think Furman is gonna make a deep run. So we're gonna go with Duke versus TCU. I think Duke is just too good. We're gonna go Duke here. Cameron Booster will have a legacy game in this round specifically. None of the other ones. The other ones they'll have the other supporting cast be pretty good. But Yeah, I think Cam Boozer will be good. I know Isaiah Evans. There's one guy with number 3. I don't know his name, and I'm not gonna look him up, but he's pretty good. I like number 3. He has dreads, I think. It's like long dreadlocks. I saw him ball out in that tournament, the ACC tournament. Pretty cool. We're gonna go Duke. St. John's versus Kansas. I think St. John's gets it done. I'm pretty high on St. John's, the whole area. I think, yeah, people are picking St. John's as well. I think Peterson, I think this team has been too inconsistent. The games I've watched, these Kansas games, I think I watched Kansas versus BYU. They're very inconsistent. It's been very bad. And I don't know what I'm getting from Darren Peterson whenever I see him step on the court. That's a really interesting area because Darren Peterson is awesome, but like, do you think he'll go all out? Like, that's a big issue. The effort level is a gigantic issue, but I don't know. I think I like St. John's here. I think it's just a gut feeling. UCF versus Michigan State. Do I have not UCF, USF versus Michigan State? Do I have USF making a Cinderella run? Not really. I'm really high on Michigan State. I think Michigan State would be awesome for really good, but yeah, we're gonna go Michigan State here. I'm gonna go with an upset here. I'm gonna go UCLA versus UConn. I'm gonna go UCLA. I think UCLA has been pretty good, mainly because I like that, and UConn. I don't know. I think they're very inconsistent. I like UCF I like UCLA here. I think they'll be pretty good, and Tyler Bilodeau, legacy game. Watch out. I think it'll be awesome. All right, moving on to the 4 left in this region. We're gonna go Michigan State versus UCLA. Book it. We're gonna go UCLA. I'm not doing this as a California native. I didn't even apply to UCLA as a college, so no bias there. So we're gonna go UCLA. I think I like UCLA too. I think Michigan State's gonna be a little inconsistent. The pressure's gonna get to them. They're gonna crumble, just like they usually do. We're gonna go Michigan State. Duke versus St. John's. I'm gonna go Duke. I think Duke will again just run over St. John's. I think Duke is just playing so sound basketball, and they're just on a hot streak right now. Duke versus UCLA is honestly pretty much a good pick for me. And then obviously the easy pick for me is Duke. Again, I think Cameron Boozer would be awesome. I think Cameron Boozer will probably go number 1. I think he'll probably solidify himself as a number 1 overall pick after this tournament. Don't book it, but keep an eye out for that. Interesting area to talk about. But yeah, we're gonna go Duke here to make it to the Final Four. All right, we're gonna change the crop screen a little bit. We're gonna move it over, and we're gonna move my face cam. Oops, you almost saw OBS. I'm on the left now. This has been a very fun video. I've actually enjoyed making this, and we're not even like a 4th down, or we're a 4th down. Arizona versus Long Island State. Noah Pete will be pretty good for this team. I think this team will like. I know Noah Pete. That's another one. I think there's just no scenario where Arizona loses. There's only been 2 times where number 1 seed has lost to number 16 seed. Don't ask me those 2 times. I just saw that stat once, and I was like, okay, that's a pretty cool stat. I'm gonna bring that up. Pretty cool. And then also, yeah, Long Island just. I think just won like the tournament, but I don't think that really means anything. Villanova versus Utah State. I'm gonna pick Villanova here. I like Villanova here a lot. I think Villanova will do pretty well. I want to see the previews for this. People are picking Utah State. I could definitely see Utah State being a swing, but yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of 50-50, which it should be, which is an 89 seed. I don't know. I don't know much about the team, but so I'm just gonna go for it. They're on a losing streak though. Let's look at Utah State. They're also. Oh no, wait. Utah State. They're on a winning streak. I'm gonna go Utah State. Actually, I'm changing my pick. We're gonna go Utah State. They're on a winning streak. I think Utah State will be good, and they're gonna get bounced by Arizona next, but it doesn't really matter. Wisconsin versus High Point. I think this is probably the only thing I've done, not research, but I've seen. I've heard Wisconsin's really good, and I think I'm gonna go with Wisconsin here. They've had good picks, and I don't think High Point is made for that pressure. BYU versus Texas, AJ DeBonsa. I just totally skipped over Arkansas. I'm going to play cool. BYU versus Texas, AJ DeBonsa is going here. I know Saunders too. I think he'll be pretty good. Even Robert Wright as well. I know BYU is on a little bit of a losing streak, but they played against, again, all top teams, and they won against Iowa State. I'm going to talk about Iowa State. I don't have them. I don't know. I don't have them in high regards, but we're gonna go BYU again. They lost against some of the best. I don't think they're gonna make a far run to this tournament, but they're gonna make a pretty good run past the first round. We're gonna go with that. Arkansas versus Hawaii. I think Darius Akov has a masterclass. I'm gonna try to predict an upset. I'm gonna go talk about that next, but we're gonna go Arkansas here. I think Arkansas. Darius Akov is tough as fuck. And Darius Akov honestly should get more recognition. His like 50-point game or 40-point game or whatever in the SEC tournament or whenever it was, that 40-point game. I remember watching the highlights for that. He looked pretty solid. I think he'll be awesome. He's kind of a bit of a defensive liability, but I think I like his scoring projections. And he's 23 points per game. Not bad. And they're also on a semi-winning streak. They only lost to Houston and Duke, which is 2 top teams. And then if you go with Wisconsin, sorry, not Wisconsin. If you go with Hawaii, a gigantic fan of Hawaii. They've lost against Oregon, ASU, UCSD, UC Irvine. They won. UC Irvine, they lost. UCSD, they won again. It's very inconsistent. I'm not a huge fan of this. We're gonna go Gonzaga versus Kansas State. I'm gonna go with an upset. I'm gonna go Kansas State. I don't know why, but I will. I don't know if how confident I feel about this. This might be bad. But we're gonna go with Kansas State. This is March Madness, baby. We're gonna go Kansas State. Jesus Christ! No, I'm changing this. I can't do this. I was gonna go with an upset, but I just can't do this. I can't. Kansas State is 0-5. 0-6. No, 0-5 in their last 5 games. Jesus Christ. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Yeah, I'm just not a gigantic fan of this. I think I know it's March Madness, but I think Gonzaga just takes it. We're going to go Missouri over Miami. I think Missouri would be pretty good. People are picking Missouri a lot, too. I'm going to go Missouri. I feel a little more confident in this pick. Mark Mitchell will have a legacy game. I don't know who that is, but we're going to go Mark Mitchell. I think Missouri would be pretty good for the team. Missouri also did lose against Illinois. It's not bad. Florida, they won against Florida, which is a pretty good win. They won against Kentucky. Pretty good win. Lost against Alabama pretty badly. Not great. Won against Vanderbilt, pretty good. Lost closely towards Arkansas. Not a bad win. Not a bad loss. Lost against Arkansas again, but they're not playing against Arkansas. You don't worry about that. So we're gonna go Missouri here. Purdue versus Queens is an easy one. I'm gonna go Purdue again. Purdue will be awesome. Purdue did just lose to Illinois, and they lost to Illinois earlier, so as well as Michigan State Wolverine. I don't think they're good enough to make it past multiple areas, but you either be a dog or beat its food. I remember seeing that, and I like that quote, so I'm going to quote it. Arizona versus Utah State. I think Arizona just gets it done. I think Arizona will be awesome for this tournament. I think Arizona can honestly win it all. I really can. They've had such a great season. I'm happy for them. Yeah, and Noah Pete. I'm really high on Noah Pete. I think he'd be a pretty solid NBA player, and even just player in general. Wisconsin versus Arkansas. I'm going to go Arkansas here. Again, I like Darius Cup Jr. I think he'll be awesome for this team. I think Darius Cup will, again, surprise a lot of people. So I'm going to go Darius Cup. Even though he's people call him a defensive liability, they've honestly had a pretty hot stretch. They really have. And I think taking them over Wisconsin, who I've lost to before against BYU and Purdue, it gets a little interesting. So I'm gonna go Arkansas here. BYU versus Gonzaga. People have been picking Gonzaga over BYU, notable because BYU is on a really cold stretch, but these are against top 25 teams, whereas Gonzaga, who are also on a winning streak against SEC / Big Ten schools. Interesting area, St. Mary. They lost against St. Mary. They lost against Michigan, which is really bad. Maybe we're gonna go BYU. I think they're gonna get it done. I'm gonna go BYU here. I think BYU will be get it done. They play against better competition, in my opinion, other than Michigan, and they just literally got smoked by Michigan. I think AJ Bonsa is probably one of the best, if not the best prospect out of this draft. I like this pick a lot for them. I think I think they can get the job done. Purdue versus Missouri. So if I'm not mistaken, this might be very poetic. Nope, they didn't. Okay, whatever. We're gonna go Missouri. Fuck Purdue. I think Missouri will make a deep run. I'm confident in this team. Not really, but people have had Missouri 187. Oh wow. Okay. I'm gonna go Missouri just because I want them to make a run. I'm not a big Missouri fan, but they won a couple of their games, and against Florida is a really good win. Kentucky is also a really good win. The only bad game I'm looking at is Alabama, maybe Arkansas. Other than that, I like this team. I think they can make a deep run. So we're gonna go all the way to the top. We're gonna go Arizona. I think Arizona again. I'm not usually gonna pick all the 1C guys. I swear, but we're gonna go Arkansas or Arizona here over Arkansas. Again, I think Arizona is just the most well-rounded team in this side of the region. It just makes the most sense for me. BYU versus Missouri. I'm gonna go Missouri. We're gonna go Missouri. We're gonna go crazy run on Missouri against they won against some of the best teams. I think this would be pretty good. They won against a 1 seed, so I like this team a lot. I'm gonna go with Missouri here. Arizona versus Missouri. I'm gonna go Arizona. I mean, all right, we're gonna go Arizona. I like this pick. I like this pick a lot for them. I think this will be a good fit regardless. I think they have a pretty easy road. I think not versus Utah State, Arkansas, and then Red Shoe, Missouri. It's not a bad road for them, but I think I like this pick a lot for them. So right now in the Final Four, I have Duke and Arizona. We're gonna stay on this right side here, so I don't have to move it again. So we're gonna go Michigan versus Howard. I think Michigan is really good. I like Luxembourg. I think he'll be awesome. yeah, people are just choosing, or Lundenberg, not Lundenberg, Lundenberg. They've honestly had a really hot stretch other than losing to Duke. I'm not really worried about the Duke loss. I mean, Duke is just so good, and Purdue, I'm not worried about that. And then so with Howard, they've lost against Missouri, Duke, and they've won against some of these other guys, and they've lost against Yale and Northwestern. Not sold. All right, we're gonna go Michigan. Georgia versus St. Louis. I picked the 9 seeds the entire time. Should I change that? I don't know. We're gonna go Georgia. I've watched a couple of Georgia games. I think I'm pretty high on Georgia. I think Georgia can get it done. We're gonna go Akron versus Texas Tech. We're gonna go see where this takes us. I think someone tore his. I think JT Toppin tore his ACL, or someone broke his ankle or something. Someone messed up, and Texas Tech has had a pretty good solid stretch. Let's see what Akron has. Bunch of losses. I just cannot pick Akron here. I don't think they're playing the hot hand. I'm gonna go Texas Tech here. Hofstra versus Alabama. I mean, again, we're gonna see the games. We're gonna see how well they're doing. Alabama did lose a couple games on a big losing streak. Hofstra, not that great either, but I'm gonna go Hofstra. I'm gonna go with a little bit of an upset. We're gonna go Hofstra here. I think Hofstra takes it past to Alabama. We're gonna call a legacy game from Cruz Davis, averaging 20 points per game. Not bad. We're gonna go that. I think that'll be a pretty good team for this team. Pretty good pick for this team. Tennessee versus Miami, Ohio, or SMU. I think regardless, I'm gonna go Tennessee here. I think that makes the most sense for me. Miami, Ohio has had some buzz about like being undefeated, but they lost one game, but they're being undefeated. But now that they lost one game in their tournament. I mean, like, what do you want them to do? They beat all the teams on their schedule. Like, what do you want them to do? You want them to play better teams? I mean, make that a decision next season. Why don't you just give them the nod now and say, okay, yeah, maybe you guys are pretty good. Let's give them a spot. I don't know. I just feel like they're getting cucked here. So we're going to go with Tennessee here because all the noise is going to get to them. They're going to get fucked up. Virginia versus Wright State. I'm going to go Virginia. I think Virginia, again, is playing some solid basketball right now. Again, people seem to agree with me. We're going to go Virginia. Won some games. They only lost against Duke twice, which is a fine loss, and North Carolina, which is not another bad loss. And with Wright State, they lost against Miami, Ohio. They lost against Marshall. They lost against Butler and Kent State and all those guys, and Cal Berkeley. So we're gonna go Virginia here. I don't know why I picked Iowa State. I don't know. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. I'm gonna go Santa Clara. I think Santa Clara can get the upset done. I actually really like Santa Clara. I haven't watched a bunch of them, but Kentucky's on a major losing streak, so I'm gonna go Kentucky to get bounced. And then Santa Clara is also not a bad team, but they did win against McNeese, so that's gonna get them a nod for me. Let's go. Iowa State versus Tennessee State. I'm going to go Iowa State again. I think Iowa State is kind of fool's gold. I'm not very, very big on Iowa State, but they're top 25 in defensive and offensive rating. So those teams have realistically won, and they're also on a heater right now. One against Houston, one against Kansas, one against Purdue, one against St. John's. All ranked teams. They lost against BYU, but they're on a bad losing streak. But I think they're playing some good basketball now, so they're playing down a good stretch. I like this pick a lot for them. Okay, we're gonna go all the way up. We're gonna go Michigan versus Georgia. I think Michigan gets the job done. I like Michigan a lot here. I think Michigan has by far looked like the best team in basketball. I think there's just gonna be a clear size mess up. I know I'm not gonna pick the number 1 seed each time, but I might pick my thing. Hofstra versus Texas Tech. We're gonna go Hofstra. Don't ask me why, but we're gonna go Hofstra. I think Cruz Davis can have a pretty good win, and I think even with some of these losses, I think it's close enough to the point where I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna give these guys the nod. I like this. I like Hofstra a lot here. All right, we're gonna go with Virginia versus Tennessee. I'm gonna go. This is a tough one. This is a real tough one. I think Tennessee can make a run. They've won against some good comp. Man, Virginia's also just playing some good basketball right now. I'm going to go Virginia. I think Virginia makes the most sense for me here. Again, they're playing some good basketball. I like this pick a lot for them. I think Virginia gets it done. We're going to go Santa Clara versus Iowa State. People have not picked Santa Clara for a good amount of reasons. I don't know how well I feel about Santa Clara with a bunch of these losses. I'm going to go Iowa State. Iowa State's playing amazing basketball, and they've won a bunch of games against top opponents. Taking them here is not a terrible idea. Michigan versus Hofstra. I'm going to go Michigan here. I like Michigan a lot. I think they're just going to make it. I think Ledenberg is going to have a great game. And then, we're going to move on to the next one. Iowa State versus Virginia. I like Iowa State here. I think Virginia is a little bit more of a food's gold, or Iowa State too. I don't know. I'm going to go Virginia. They're playing some good basketball. I think Iowa State's luck runs out. We're going to go Michigan versus Virginia. I like Michigan a lot here. I think, again, all the number 1 seeds I made to the Final Four, I think Michigan will fit up perfectly against some of these teams. And I think they're just playing, again, great basketball right now. So why take away with the hot hand? All right, we're gonna go up. We're gonna go Florida versus PV or Le. We're gonna go Florida. I think Florida makes the most sense here. I like Florida the most. Iowa versus Clemson. People are picking Iowa a lot, and I've actually done some, I've seen videos about this. I think I like Iowa here too. I think Iowa's playing some good basketball as well, and that's for the reason people are taking them. I know they did just lose to a bunch of guys here, a bunch of top teams. One against Nebraska though. I think I like Iowa here a lot. They fell a lot, but same with Clemson. Clemson's playing some bad basketball, and they're one of their players just tore their ACL, and that's gonna be a real issue. So we're gonna go Iowa. Vanderbilt versus McNeese. This is another interesting area. Amir Khan. I don't know if he's still there, but if he is, that's pretty cool. Vanderbilt's not playing bad basketball at all either. It's kind of up and down. Santa Clara versus some of these other guys. McNeese versus some of the other guys. Lost against Santa Clara. One's against Murray State. One against George Washington. Lost against Michigan badly. I'm gonna go Vanderbilt though. I like this team. I think Vanderbilt can make it far. Troy versus Nebraska. I'm not a huge Nebraska watcher. I'm not gonna lie. Nebraska's also playing some good basketball, so that's very compelling. Troy is not. No, they're really not. I think Troy gets bounced here. I think Nebraska's playing too good at basketball to lose eventually. VCU versus North Carolina. I think this is closer than some people think. VCU honestly isn't that bad. I don't know if Caleb Wilson's playing because he did fracture his thumb. So interesting area. UNC won against Kansas, lost against Michigan State. Kentucky, they won against some good comp. Versus VCU, which is on a crazy losing streak. I mean, it really is. Against some of these not great teams, and Utah State and Vanderbilt. I'm gonna go UNC. I think that makes the most sense. Penn versus Illinois. Kean Wagler is gonna have a great game. I think he'll get it. I think Kean Wagler takes his team to the thing, and honestly, they've been playing some decent basketball. So we're gonna go Kean Wagler. Texas A&M versus St. Mary's College. Interesting. I think how St. Mary's has been playing, losing a bunch, and then eventually winning Wichita State is interesting. Texas A&M, I think, can get the job done. We're going to go Texas A&M. Houston versus Idaho, I think this is easy. I think Kingston Flemings will have an amazing game. I like him a lot, too. I think he'll be a pretty good NBA player. They've lost against some of these bigger teams, but again, they're playing against some of the best teams. I think I'm going to give them the nod here. Florida versus Iowa. I'm going to go. Do I get rid of the first number 1 seed? Oh my God, no one's picking that. Jesus Christ. But Florida's playing some bad basketball. They've lost too. But same with Iowa, man. I have to hold them to the same standard. I'm gonna go Iowa. I feel like this match is decided by whoever wins by the biggest margin next to me. I know it's not very in depth, guys. I'm not a very big college basketball watcher. I'm not gonna act like I know this. If I do, if I did, pretty cool, but I just can't do that. So I'm gonna go Iowa here. Vanderbilt versus Nebraska. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much about this, but I'm gonna go Nebraska. I think Nebraska makes the most sense here. I think Nebraska has had strung along some good games versus Vanderbilt, who have been a little inconsistent recently. So I'm gonna go Vanderbilt here. I'm gonna go Nebraska here. UNC versus Illinois. Interesting area. Kean Wagler might have a legacy game. Illinois is also playing just some really good basketball, and UNC has had injury history with some of these guys that play, also inconsistent play. Siakovic is probably gonna have a legacy game here. I'm gonna go Illinois. Houston versus Texas A&M, a battle of the Texas boys. Kingston Flemings, I think will have an amazing game. I just don't see any world where Houston wins, Houston loses, especially with Texas A&M's recent cold stretch. We're gonna go to Houston here. 9-4 versus 2-3. We're gonna start off with the easier one. I'm gonna go 2-3. I like. Oh well, you guys haven't really been seeing because of this, but yeah. So we're gonna go 2-3. I think Houston makes the most sense here. I think I'm really high on Houston. They're top 25 in APA in some of these offensive and defensive categories. I think I like Houston here the most. Iowa versus Nebraska. I think I'm gonna go Iowa here. I think Iowa makes the most sense here. I think Iowa, again, feeding the hot hand. I know they've lost a lot, but I think I like Iowa a lot. I think Iowa versus Nebraska, it's a real plausibility, and I'm gonna go Iowa here. Iowa versus Houston. I think Houston gets it done. I think Kingston Flemings has a really good game. I like this team. I think this team can really use a good win. I think Kingston Flemings will be awesome. Yeah, I think this team can definitely win and go to the Final Four. All right, time for the Final Four. We're gonna go with the more interesting game towards the end. We're gonna go Duke versus Houston. I think Duke just gets it done. I think that Yeah, I mean, it just makes the most sense. We're gonna go Duke here. I think Duke makes the most sense. They've been playing so great basketball, but yeah, I think Duke's here. Now we have the Juggernauts battling Michigan versus Arizona. I'm gonna go Michigan. I think Michigan makes the most sense here. I think I love Michigan in this area. Luxembourg's been pretty good, and they've been on a tear recently, and I think that they're the most hot team right now. So I think taking Michigan here is not a bad idea. And Duke versus Michigan, I'm gonna go Duke. Cam Boozer gets it done. Duke goes and doesn't to get that lick back for the Cooper flag. Not success last year. I'm gonna go Duke here. I like Duke a lot. I think Duke will be amazing. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for actually, let's fill out the tiebreaker. We're gonna go 150 points scored for the game. Smash like. Thank you all for watching. I know this isn't what I usually do, but it is something I like doing, so we're gonna do that. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.